Hello everyone, today's vlog is all about the new jobs support scheme announced by the Chancellor today, the 24th of September. So this is the replacement to the Furlough Scheme, which is due to end on the 31st of October. So what exactly does this new jobs support scheme entail? Well, it's aimed at people who have viable jobs. Now, the Chancellor refused to elaborate on exactly what a viable job is, but it's aimed at those who are not just kept on the payroll for the sake of the fact they're being furloughed or they're being subsidised by the government. So some clarity needed there. What is a viable job? But essentially, the government will contribute 22% of the salary. Now then, that compares to about 80% under the Furlough Scheme at the start. You remember the Furlough Scheme started at 80%, came down 70%, but it was originally 80%. This scheme, not as generous, 22%. So how exactly does it work? It applies to all staff who can work at least 1/3 of their usual hours. So that's your starting point. Staff who work at least 1/3 of their usual hours. So then you say, assuming the hours that they don't work is 2/3 of their normal hours, so they can work for 1/3, they can't work for 2/3 of their hours. Of those 2/3 that they can't work, the government will pay 1/3 of that, and the employer will pay 1/3 of that to cover the lost pay. So 2/3 that they can't work, 66%, government covers 1/3 of that. That's where the 22% comes from, and the employer has to match it. So the employee is actually getting just over 3/4 of their normal pay. So they're getting paid for 1/3, assuming they only work 1/3 of their normal hours, and then 22% from the government, 22% from their employer. You add all that up, that's just over 3/4 of their usual pay. Now, there is a cap on this, and the cap is £698 per employee per month. It's open to all SMEs. All SMEs are eligible. Larger businesses can also claim if they can show that their turnover has declined during the pandemic. And the scheme will run for 6 months from the 1st of November. So straight after the furlough scheme ends on the 31st of October. It's open to all employers, even if they haven't made use of the furlough scheme so far. So you don't have to have claimed furlough before to go onto the new job support scheme. For your workforce, doesn't matter. If you haven't claimed furlough previously, you can still claim under the jobs support scheme. So what else was announced by the Chancellor today? Well, there was also good news for the hospitality and tourism sector with regards to VAT. You remember that the Chancellor had previously announced in the summer a temporary reprieve in the VAT rate for those industries from 20 down to 5%. That was due to expire in January 2021. However, what he said today was that temporary reduction to 5% will be extended to March 2021. So an extra few months of only charging VAT at the lower rate for hospitality and tourism. So that was the announcements today by the Chancellor, largely focused on the new job scheme. If you like this video, do please subscribe, and I will see you soon.